Hey everyone, I'm Jackson with Edible Garden Growers. Welcome to this episode where we're going to be talking about planting garlic. We're also going to be making a do-it-yourself garlic planting jig, which is basically just a tool which is going to make it easier for you to make the holes to plant your garlic, save you some time if you're doing more than a handful. I've got about 500 in this bowl. I've got probably 600 total. I don't know if I'm going to plant them all. Last season, I think I grew about 350 and it was nowhere near enough. So this year I'm making some more room to be able to plant even more. When you're choosing your garlic, you want to make sure you're getting the biggest guys you can find. You get these like smaller guys, which that one's not terrible, but you get the smaller ones, you're not going to get the biggest bulb formation on your plants. So you really want to be trying to find the biggest guys you possibly can to be getting your best results that you're wanting to look for. You're going to want to be planting them with that side down, the rough side, pointy side, you're going to be having that side pointing up. This variety is from Hood River Garlic. I bought it last year and it did really great. It's called Silver White. It's a soft neck variety. Also got a hard neck variety that I didn't treat very well this season, so I ended up losing quite a bit of it. So I'm going to try and get those numbers back up. But yeah, let's get to it. This is a soft neck variety called Silver White, if I remember correctly. It's from Hood River Garlic. This is the same. These are just the smaller guys. Some of them would be pretty good, some of them not so much. You typically want to get the biggest guys you can find. They're going to have the best results. There might be a couple hard neck mixed in there. I don't know. These guys I was a big fan of. They're a hard neck variety, although they were in a bed with some peppers, and I did not stop watering them when I should have because I needed to keep watering the pepper plants. And I think, unfortunately, that kind of killed off most of them. This is less than half. As you can see, they're kind of depressed. I don't think these are good, but I'm going to plant them anyway. I got rid of the worst looking ones. Some are still looking really good. I was pretty bummed because I've been not eating these for the last couple years as I up my numbers. And then I kind of just screwed myself this year with not being as aware of what I should be doing. So they stayed wet longer than they should have. I'm really wanting these guys to work. There tends to be, 3 to 4 of these per bulb. So I need to save a lot of them for seed garlic. But when I'm making things like hot sauces and stuff like that, it's just so much easier peeling something like this rather than something like this, because most of my sauces and pickles and salsas and whatnot have been made from things like this. So just got these opened up. You want to make sure you leave the skin intact. If any of the skin comes off, it's not good. It's going to go bad more than likely. So be paying attention to that when you do that. And yeah, I'm going to be building a little jig out of this wooden dowel I just picked up and a couple pieces of wood, so that way I can make multiple holes at once, because I'm going to be planting probably over 500 and I'm going to need something to speed up that process. So it's currently raining outside and I really don't want to be doing anything outside that I don't have to. So I'm currently working at my greenhouse right now, where I got a couple pepper plants that I'm just trying to let ripen up. Got some cold weather not too long ago and killed a lot of my plants, and some of these ones are pretty special. I'm wanting to get some seed from them, so just keep them in here and trying to keep them alive. Anyway, I got a wooden dowel here. I'm going to be using this for my jig. I got a couple, I don't know what these are, like 1 by 2.5 pieces of wood, just some scrap wood that I had. I'm going to be making a jig to make it a lot easier to bury my plants, or bury the garlic, that is. So I've got some markings marked out on here at 4 3/4 inches. You want to plant garlic about 2 inches deep. Some people say more, some people say less. I've had some pretty good result with 2. I've got a couple of bulbs that are a little bit bigger, so I'm going to do 2 1/4 just to give myself some extra space, and then 2.5 inches to account for the width of this guy. I'm going to attach it onto here, sandwich it in with another one, And so then it'll be sticking just about 2¼ inches beneath that. Then I'm going to attach some handles to this guy. I'm going to get 5 wooden dowels, or 5 of these little sections, so I'll be able to do 5 across, and then be able to just go down my 3-foot row and make it real simple. Most of my rows are 2.5 feet, but this garlic row that I'm doing is 3 feet, and I got another one that's about 5 feet, so I'll be using this for those 2 rows. So I've got my first board marked up. I like to do 6-inch spacing between rows, and 6 inches all around. So yeah, I'm going to attach the wood dowels now. So to try and make this as uniform as possible, I'm going to put the screws at 3/4 of an inch down, and then another one at about an inch below that. So I'm just going to make some marks here on the wood, so I know where I'm going to be doing my screw placement. To avoid splitting anything, because I don't want to have to go get more wood, I'm going to be using a, 7/64 drill bit. You could use a variety of different things as long as it's smaller. Not too big, not too small. And then I'm going to be doing the same thing on these guys. I'm going to mark 3/4 of an inch down and send a hole through those guys. So before making this, I looked up a couple of videos on YouTube. I didn't really see any DIYs, but it seems pretty straightforward. A lot of people are doing basically the same thing, just using what they had. So this is what I've got so far. I'm going to put a second board on this side to just secure it up and send another screw about 1/4 inch above the bottom. And then I'm going to put some handles on. So it didn't really take that long, and I've probably spent most of my time trying to adjust my camera and set that stuff up, but got my jig set up, got a screw on each side, so that way these guys don't go back and forth. Got a piece of wood on each side to keep it secure. I've seen people go simpler. I like to build something that's going to be able to stand up to me abusing it a little bit. So let's get some handles put on. So now we got the handles all set up. Just use some more scrap wood. Kind of an awkward device, but it should get the job done. So let's go test it out. So we got everything to start planting our garlic. We got some organic earthworm castings from Corners Organics out of Castle Rock, Washington. We got some kelp meal. This is to provide some phosphorus. Also just helps with the early stages of planting and transplanting. Crustacean meal for the calcium. We got some feather meal for the nitrogen. I got a few other things that I like to apply, but these are kind of the main ones. Primarily kelp meal and the feather meal. Especially after some heavy feeders, we're going to be planting this in that bed right there, which is where I had the peppers growing, or some of my peppers growing. So I definitely want to make sure I get some nutrients back down in there. And yeah, let's get to applying. We're going to throw down some of the earthworm castings first to start. Then we're going to be throwing down just a thin layer of these other 3 amendments. We're going to mix it all in. Then we're going to get to using this jig testing it out. So I just cleared off the bed of all the debris that was on there beforehand, and I'll probably end up reapplying that after as just a thin mulch layer. And if I get some time, I'll probably get a bigger load of compost to throw down. This is mostly just going to be a thin little layer for now. So yeah. So now we got all that applied, got it all mixed in. See, it's not a big pile of powder anymore. So this is a 3-foot wide bed. Most of my beds are 2.5 feet. I made this 3 feet just because it's the way the space worked out in my front yard. I didn't want an extra wide path if I could have more growing space. So this season, I'm going to be using this for peppers. Or not peppers, I did for last season. Garlic. So you can maybe see, got this string here that's going from corner to corner, so that's going to give me something to work with when I'm using my jig to lay out for when I make my holes. I got this guy. It's PVC pipe. It's got 6, 8, and 12-inch markings on it. I'm going to be doing 6-foot spacing, so this is going to make it so that way I have something to work with when I'm going down the road to make sure all my spacing is even. And yeah, let's get to planting, or hole making. I think it's worked pretty dang well. My only complaint, I'm just going to be honest and not pretend like it worked out perfectly, is that my dowels are about 2¼ inch beneath the bottom board. I'm looking for 2-inch holes, so I thought that would help, but I did not account for the fact that my ground is not perfectly flat. I personally use the no-till method. This is going to be this front yard garden's second year. This time last year it was all grass still. I did some lasagna mulching. I started with using a broad fork. Came out here with that. Loosened up the grass but didn't actually remove the grass. Threw about 5 layers of cardboard on top of that. Then I did the wood chips and then the white lightning mix from what are they? Dean's in Southeast Portland. I used their white lightning mix. It's a phenomenal mix. Just threw that straight on top. I've had great results with it in past years. But yeah, I'm just using the no-till method. It's been working out well for me besides that first initial tilling with the broad fork. But to get back to what I was saying, as I pulled the dowels out, some of the holes decided to fill back in. So I'm probably going to go over it a second time just to really solidify all those holes. If I were to do it again, which I'm going to, I'll probably just remove the dowels and make them 3 inches instead of 2 inches. So when you're planting garlic, you want to go about 2 inches or so deep, depending on, where you're at. I've got a variety of different sizes. I'm shooting for ones that are about this size. You want to go with the root side, that rough side down, and that pointed top. You want that facing up because the roots are going to grow out of there. If it's upside down, it's going to have a lot harder of a time doing what it's supposed to do. Yeah. You just throw this guy down in the hole. Make sure that topsoil is pointing up. Oh, I forgot to mention that wooden dowel that I got is 1¼ inch wide. So just for reference, if anyone's wanting to make one themselves. So you get it down in there, just fill it with soil. You don't really want to compact it too much, but you want to make sure it's not super loose sitting there. And yeah, that's how you plant garlic. So now I'm going to use my rake here and fill all the holes with soil. Oh, I also just threw down a little more earthworm castings over the top, and yeah, I'm gonna rake it in. When doing this, I'm using the back side, not the top side. Just makes it easier. So you can see one of the stalks here from my peppers. Try and cut them off at the base, but one reason I like to leave these guys in and not pull them out. You might think that it kind of gets in the way. This might be a pain to deal with, but when you leave these guys in here, the root systems also stay in the soil, and then as those break down, creates pathways within the soil for water to work its way down, so helps increase the drainage. Also acts as a a little mild nutrient source as it breaks down. There's also mycorrhizal fungi and other things that attach to the root systems of your plant, so pulling that out is just removing them and makes it so it doesn't benefit the future plants. So yeah, that's how I plant garlic. I'm going to be doing the same thing to the bed and back, and thanks for checking it out. So it's been about 3 months now. I ended up lining the edge of the garlic bed with sunflower stalks. As you can see, these guys are starting to pop up pretty well. These are those bigger hard-necked ones I was talking about. See, it really cuts off when it transitions to the other ones. They're starting to pop up, but it's not as uniform. They're not quite as big. Most of them have popped up at this point, but they're all still pretty small. So yeah, looking forward to a good rest of the season. Well, once again, I'm Jackson with Edible Garden Growers. I appreciate you guys coming and checking out this episode on how to grow garlic. Hopefully you took something from it that can help you with your own gardening or farming or whatever it is that you're doing. If you like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you liked, subscribed, and maybe even hit that bell notification for the algorithms. And we'll see you in the next one.